All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to crack open a 2,300-year-old text that pretty much flips everything we think about success, value, and freedom right on its head. And it all starts with a question about a really, really big bird. So our guide here is the ancient philosopher Zhuangzi. And he doesn't kick things off with some dry, logical argument. Nope. He starts with this absolutely wild story that's designed to ask this exact question. He's basically asking, hey, is your idea of freedom, well, maybe a little too small? The very first part of Zhuangzi's work, which is called Free and Easy Wandering, just throws us right into the deep end with a myth. Now, this isn't just some bedtime story. It's actually a tool, and it's designed to completely break our sense of what's normal and what's even possible. And that's the whole point, right? The scale is just mind-boggling. We're talking about a fish so big you can't even measure it, and then it turns into a bird so huge its wings literally look like clouds stretching across the entire sky. The source material calls this a metaphor for deconstruction. It's like he's trying to shock our brains out of their cozy, finite little worlds and into something boundless. This bird, the Peng, flies up to an altitude of 90,000 li. To put that in perspective, that's over 45,000 kilometers straight up. But here's the kicker. Zhuangzi says this isn't just some magic trick. For a creature this massive to get off the ground, it needs a crazy amount of wind built up underneath it. So even in this wild myth, real freedom needs the right conditions to happen. So just when you're up there, soaring in the clouds with this incredible bird, wham! Zhuangzi completely pulls the rug out from under you. He yanks us all the way back down to earth and gives us a totally different point of view. And this right here just shows you the insane contrast. We go from this epic 6-month journey across the heavens to the world of a tiny little cicada and a small dove. They look way, way up at the Peng's flight, and they're not just unimpressed, they're literally laughing at it. And this is the big twist. The cicada's view is totally practical, It's even a little cynical. From its perspective on the ground, the Peng's huge journey is just pointless. It's absurd. Now, Zhuangzi isn't saying the cicada is wrong. He's making us crash back to Earth and ask ourselves, what actually makes a journey worthwhile? The giant epic one or the small everyday one? Okay, so what is the deal with this philosophical whiplash, right? Going from the massive bird to the tiny bug. Well, we're about to see the brilliant method behind all this madness. This right here is the key to everything. Zhuangzi's writing isn't just a bunch of stories. It's an exercise in what we might call deconstructive reading today. The whole text is like a machine that's built to take your worldview apart, piece by piece, to dismantle the boxes we put everything in. And the way he does it is through something called the debate of big versus small. He's showing us that if you look at things from this huge cosmic perspective, all of our favorite hierarchies, big is better than small, a long life is better than a short one, high status is better than low, all of it just dissolves. It turns out they're just labels we made up. And then he takes this idea and points it right at us, at our human values. When he compares the Peng and the cicada, he's not really just talking about animals. He's questioning the very foundations of our society. Who are we to say that one kind of life or one person's journey is automatically better than another? So, okay, after he's completely shattered our ideas about the world, Zhuangzi introduces us to the kind of person who can actually live this way, the person who is truly free. So he gives us these two examples, right? First, there's a guy named Zhuangzi. He's so enlightened that praise and blame don't affect him. But he's still defined by not being affected. Then you've got Huizi, who's even more amazing. He can literally ride the wind for 2 weeks. But he still depends on the wind. See the pattern? As long as you rely on anything outside yourself, you're not totally completely free. And that leads us to his ultimate ideal. The truly free person gets there by ditching 3 things. First, they have no self, no ego that needs to be defended. Because of that, they have no merit. They don't need anyone to pat them on the back for their achievements. And finally, that means they have no fame. They couldn't care less about having a big reputation. They're free because they just are. They act because things need doing, and that's it. So you might be thinking, okay, this is all very philosophical, but how does any of this apply to, real life? Well, Zhuangzi gives us one last amazing parable that brings it all home. This is where we meet Zhuangzi's buddy, Huizi. He's the practical one, the no-nonsense friend we all have. He looks at all of Zhuangzi's weird, philosophical ideas and says they're like this big, gnarled old tree. It looks impressive, I guess, but it's totally useless. You can't build anything with it.
But Zhuangzi's comeback is just brilliant. He points out that what we call useful is often a trap. Think about it. The wildcat is a super skilled hunter, and that very skill leads it right into a snare. The giant yak is powerful and huge, but that same size makes it completely unable to do something simple, like catch a mouse. Having a specific use can also be a huge limitation.
And that's the beautiful paradox at the heart of this story. Because that big, gnarled tree is useless to a carpenter, no one ever comes along with an axe to chop it down. Its so-called uselessness is its ultimate superpower. It's what allows it to survive, to grow ancient and huge, and to give shade to everyone.
And this is where Zhuangzi ties it all together. He tells his friend to take this useless tree and plant it in this imaginary place, the village of nothing at all, a place beyond purpose and labels. There you can wander freely. Remember that phrase, free and easy wandering? And just enjoy the tree for what it is. The tree's freedom, and yours, comes from its uselessness.
So when you zoom out and look at the whole picture, from the giant bird to the laughing cicada to this gnarled old tree, you realize it's all one big, sustained argument against the fixed labels we stick on everything. Because for him, true freedom isn't about choosing to be the big bird or the small cicada. It comes from realizing you don't have to choose it all. It's about seeing past those categories and finding your freedom in that space beyond the labels. So that kind of leaves us with one last question to chew on. In our world, which is so obsessed with being productive, with being useful, with having a clear purpose, maybe the most freeing thing we can do is find the unuseful parts of ourselves and really embrace them. Think about your own life. What's the unuseless part of you? The part that doesn't help your career, that doesn't fit into some neat little box. Could that actually be the key to your freedom?